Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all well. This is sort of slightly different. I don't know why. I don't know where this has come from, to be honest. But it's tickled me initially, so I thought I'd just give it a mention. To be honest, I probably won't play it all. It's 30 minutes long. You can go to the channel if you want to get involved. If you want to get involved in the Piss Saga, is the name of the video. A short documentary from Derek Milton. 2.56 thousand subscribers, though, so it's got quite a few subscribers. Yeah, the video's called The Piss Saga, so I was intrigued, to be honest. I was literally intrigued. What's going on here? The Piss Saga, so I clicked on it, and I watched about a minute of it, and yet again, I was completely intrigued. So, the name of the video is The Piss Saga, and this is what it's all about.
The past 2 years, an electrical box in my neighborhood had been overrun with bottles of piss. And not your normal run-of-the-mill truck driver bottle of piss, but an assortment of different size bottles, different colors, and sometimes complemented with a hand-drawn note. The bottles would usually appear in the morning and then disappear in the late afternoon or evening, with this transaction occurring a few times a week. The word of this piss-infested electrical box spread throughout the neighborhood, even to the point where a third-party vigilante left an aggressive letter threatening the culprit. The notoriety of the situation grew, and so did the strength of the urine, making its mark atop the electrical box and cementing itself as its own neighborhood landmark. Who was placing these bottles? Who was the vigilante? Is a different person picking them up? Finally, my curiosity got the best of me, so I purchased a DigiGarden 4K waterproof trail camera with the hopes of answering these questions. But my
So, so I don't know the rest of you, but I'm thoroughly intrigued. You know what I mean? It's called the Piss Saga. Somebody's leaving bottles of piss on top of an electrical box in the neighbourhood. And yeah, that's the mystery here. So that's the mystery. I mean, it's very trivial. I'll be honest. It's absolutely trivial, but amusing and mysterious all in the same go. So somebody's leaving bottles of piss on top of an electrical box in a neighbourhood. That's the story. That's literally the story. There's nothing more to it so far. Again, it's very trivial, but I'm still completely intrigued. I haven't seen any more of this than this right now. We're at the same stage here. All we know is piss is being left on an electrical box. We don't know why. We don't know who by. It's a mystery, but and what a mystery it is.
My main holdup was setting up the camera. The electrical box is located on a busy street, and if anyone saw me next to it, then they would immediately assume that I was the pisser, and my reputation would be forever ruined. So I hit up my friend Grant, who's always filming his own videos and skits, and is usually in costume, figuring that he would be a good source for a decoy look.
Ayo. Yeah, I have a construction vest and a helmet you can borrow. I also have a brown lunch bags if you need to have a sack lunch with you. Also, let me know if you need any help putting it up.
The next day, Grant and I arrived at the location in our decoy looks. Me as a standard construction worker, and Grant as a recently divorced, disheveled project manager. The two of us were able to fool the public as we successfully set up the DigiGarden 4K waterproof trail camera. The following morning, I went to go check the electrical box and couldn't believe my eyes. Piss. I honestly thought this would take a week or so, but we were able to capture the drop-off on the first night, but inherently knew that the pickup was the most intriguing part of the story. So after consulting with Grant, we agreed to wait it out one more night. Unfortunately, the piss bottles were still there the following morning. No pickup. It had been too long and there was a high chance that the batteries to my DigiGarden 4K waterproof trail camera were dead. Also, since Grant and I had been posting about this in real time, there was a great deal of pressure building from people online. I couldn't take it anymore. Making sure the coast was clear, I quickly collected the DigiGarden 4K waterproof trail camera and went home to review the clips. Finally, the mystery was about to be solved. The footage was baffling. I hadn't even thought about the drop-off coming from beyond the wall, which also happened to be the side of a highway. I had so many questions, and so did everyone following the saga. Grant and I both felt that this was just the tip of the iceberg and that we're onto something much bigger. After capturing the mysterious video footage of the initial piss drop-off, Grant and I decided to take the weekend to process what we had just witnessed. It was baffling to think that someone was out there at night, in the bushes with latex gloves, strategically placing piss bottles on an electrical box. First thing Monday morning, I drove to the site to check if the bottles were gone. They weren't. In fact, they had doubled. Things were escalating quickly, so Grant decided to order a second Digit Garden 4K waterproof trail camera, and we devised a plan to capture what was occurring beyond the wall. For this intricate of a setup, we need a bigger crew of decoy construction workers. Fortunately, Grant had a construction worker friend who agreed to help out and lend us gear while also giving us a few pointers on how we could better sell the look. I didn't have any construction worker friends, but I had a motorcycle friend named Robin, who basically looks like a construction worker, and I was certain that he would help out. But Robin was busy that day, so I hit up my friend Katz, who's usually down for anything. Hey Katz, I'm working on a project and need some extra bodies. Mainly need you to come and be a construction worker.
Okay. I've never done construction before, but fuck it, I'll try anything once. Hey, wait, is this for the piss thing?
With both Katz and Grant's real construction friend on board, it was time to head to the location and suit up. We were a squad of construction workers ready to take on whatever construction worker things that were in our path. And in this case, setting up 2 Digit Garden 4K waterproof trail cameras around an electrical box stacked with piss bottles. We played our parts perfectly. I did all the work while everyone else told me how to do it. Grant, the recently divorced disheveled project manager, loomed over, micromanaging us to a T. With cameras set up, our operation was an all-in-all success. Now it was time to wait. The next morning, I returned to the box only to see that there was a new batch of piss bottles. I knew because this was fewer than before, and one bottle had a particular darker tint. I immediately hit up Grant with the good intel, but was only met with some disastrous news on his end. And out of nowhere, Grant hit me with the classic, "I'm going to Norway today" excuse.
I'm going to Norway today.
I had to retrieve these Digit Garden 4K waterproof trail cameras, but also knew it would be too risky to collect on my own. I needed a project manager, and I knew just the guy. Hey Katz, can you be my project manager?
Easy.
Also, try to match Grant's decoy outfit, disheveled.
You got it. Plus, I'm actually divorced.
Katz and I met at the location, again in our decoy looks. Me as a normal construction worker, and Katz as an actually recently divorced, disheveled project manager. And we were able to retrieve both Digit Garden 4K waterproof trail cameras without any problems. We had 2 issues with the Digit Garden 4K waterproof trail cameras. The first one I set up failed to record anything. Not really sure why, but it's something I'll be voicing my frustrations with the Digit Garden customer service at a future date. The other issue being that the second camera shifted positions upon setup and framed out the electrical box. But beyond the wall, we did get a major hit. Footage of the culprit in the act, revealing a man in his mid-30s to 40s wearing latex gloves and a flashlight, pouring liquids from one bottle to another, then methodically placing the piss on the electrical box. Also, the timestamp is almost identical to the previous footage. This clearly seemed premeditated and very intentional. I thought getting a visual of the culprit would give me some closure, but in reality, it only doubled my curiosity. Is this some abstract performance artist, or some family man's late night fetish? For every question I answer, I seemingly raise 2 more. What are his motives? Who is doing the pickups? And is that actually urine? The electrical box was stacked with piss. A couple days had passed since we captured the footage of the culprit in the act, and I was reluctant to set up my Digit Garden 4K waterproof trail cameras, mainly because my 2 project managers were missing. Grant was abroad, enjoying himself on a meaningless trip to Norway, while Katz was tied up with many of life's distractions. So I took this time to monitor and track the culprit's movements, day in and day out, the comings and goings of the piss bottles. But as the days passed, the bottles remained on the electrical box. More bottles would appear overnight, some with more labels than usual, and he even went to the extent of placing decals on the box. Was he taunting me? Was this piss cat and mouse? But one thing I did notice, no one was picking them up. I returned to the footage from the Digit Garden 4K waterproof trail camera that had shifted in the tree, framing out the electrical box, hoping that I would discover some clue regarding the pickup that day. Although this was quite the task because it recorded every single person, cyclist, and car that passed by. The only thing I was able to capture was a man in a construction worker type vest observing and taking photos of the bottles. He then moves out of frame but looks to be collecting them. Was this a city cleanup crew guy? Or a sketchy piss recipient who was wearing a city cleanup crew guy decoy outfit? Meanwhile, online, my Piss Saga intro video was racking up views, even to the point where people from the neighborhood would reach out and send their own piss bottle stories and photos. One person sent me an origin story about how the piss bottles started off on a different electrical box at a nearby park, and then gradually moved east, eventually claiming the current box. Another unsettling anecdote was about a time when the culprit tied a bottle to a string and hung it from a tree branch. People were consumed with piss and had started developing their own theories as to what was occurring beyond the wall. A drug drop disguised as human urine? Clean urine for people who needed to pass a drug test? Or just a person that wanted to showcase their massive collection of piss? Then someone sent me a message that caught my interest. A user claimed that they owned a crime scene biohazardous waste
So I mean that's the Piss Saga right there. Piss Saga. I won't play anymore. I just sort of give it a mention to be honest, because it's just weird. It's just weird. The kind of things you find on YouTube. So the Piss Saga short documentary, Derek Milton. If you want to know the mystery of the piss, then that's the man. That's the man. That's the channel. This is the video. I just thought I'd give it a mention because it was fucking mental, to be honest. The Piss Saga. I don't know if it's real or it's set up or fuck all. I don't know. I don't know. It's just mental. Absolutely mental. Welcome to Earth. Welcome to Earth.